You ever get screamed at by someone so convinced of their own authority that they actually think they can call the cops on you, on your own property? Yeah. That happened. I was just out for a peaceful Saturday morning cruise on my golf cart, sun barely up, grass still wet with dew, not a sound in the world except for the wheels gliding across the path when this woman came charging at me like I just run over her dog and insulted her mother in the same breath. Are you seriously questioning my authority right now? She yelled, arms crossed, face red, blocking my path like she was guarding a state secret. And that's when I knew my morning was about to go completely off the rails. Now let me back up a sec. I wasn't joyriding. I was out scouting locations for our annual charity golf tournament, same one I've organized for the past 5 years, raising money for local youth programs. I just installed new signage the week before and wanted to check on the setup near hole 9. That's when Karen, her name was actually Karen, stormed over like a mall cop on a caffeine high, demanding permits and waving her phone around like it was a badge. She didn't ask who I was. She didn't wonder why I was there. She just knew I didn't belong, based entirely on the fact that I didn't look like someone she recognized. She points at my custom black cart, not the rental kind. I'm talking full electric, leather seats, solar roof, built like a Tesla for turf, and says, "That's not one of ours. You can't drive that here." Now I try to keep my cool. I really do. I smile, tell her I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. But that answer? Wrong move. She narrows her eyes, pulls out her phone, and says, "I'm calling the police. You're trespassing." And you know what? She actually does it. Stands there pacing in front of my cart, telling dispatch that there's a man with a suspicious vehicle on private property refusing to leave. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting there sipping my coffee, texting my assistant Tom, "It's happening. Get the folder." See, what Karen didn't know and refused to even imagine was that I owned the course. Not rent. Not lease. Own. I bought it quietly 2 years ago during a corporate acquisition that included several residential properties and amenities in the area. My name isn't on the signs. That's intentional. Keeps things clean. But when I say I belong there, I mean it. Anyway, 10 minutes later, police show up, Officer Ramirez and his partner. Karen runs to them like she's just saved the town from a terrorist. She's waving her arms, pointing, making wild accusations. That man right there, he's refusing to leave. He's got no ID, no papers, no reason to be here. Officer Ramirez looks over at me, then back at her. "Ma'am, do you have any evidence that he's not authorized?" She scoffs, says, "He admitted it." I step out of my cart, open my golf bag, and hand over a leather folder to the officer. Inside, property deeds, management agreements, permits, and a letter from the city approving my event. Ramirez flips through the documents, then radios back to confirm. After a bit, he looks at Karen and says, flat as a pancake, "Ma'am, he owns this property." And I swear, it was like watching a statue melt. Her face just broke. Eyes darting, mouth opening like she wanted to argue, but the words got stuck somewhere between her ego and reality. "What? That can't be. I would know if someone bought the course," she says, voice cracking just enough to reveal the panic underneath. "Management never told us." I give her a small nod, nothing gloating, just grounded. "That's because I am management." Now, most people would have backed off. Maybe even apologized. But Karen? No. She doubled down. Started whispering to neighbors, snapping photos of me from behind trees, following my assistant around like she was starring in some low-budget spy movie. Next thing I know, she's posting in the community group chat, spinning this whole fantasy about a mysterious man with undisclosed access and how the HOA must be hiding something. That's when I realized this wasn't about the golf cart. It never was. it was about control. She'd spent years convincing herself she was in charge of this community, and the idea that someone had more authority than her. That someone she didn't approve of had more say. That was intolerable. So she did what people like that always do. She organized a meeting. Emergency Community Forum, Tuesday night, everyone invited. Flyers printed, accusations implied, the whole 9 yards. She framed it as a safety issue. Who is this man? Why won't anyone give us answers? And stirred up enough curiosity to fill the community center. Now here's the twist. I showed up. Quietly, in the back. Let her have the floor. She went full dramatic charts, photos, a PowerPoint presentation with zoom-ins of my cut like it was a UFO. She even brought up timelines, claiming my presence didn't match the security logs, like she was cracking a criminal case. People started whispering, asking questions, getting uncomfortable. Then Tom walked in wearing a suit, briefcase in hand. Took a seat front and center. Karen's expression shifted instantly, like a dog spotting a bigger dog. She stuttered through the end of her speech, and finally, Tom stood up. "Thank you, Ms. Myers, for your thorough investigation," he said, smiling just enough. "But I think it's time the community learned the truth." He turned to the crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen, the man Ms. Myers has been referring to is Nathan Cross. He owns this course, and the surrounding properties. Including Ms. Myers' mortgage, in fact." Gasps. Real, audible gasps. And Karen. She looked like her soul had left the building. But Tom wasn't done. "Also Ms. Myers, you may remember Nathan from your time working at our downtown office. You were let go for harassing clients. Seems old habits die hard. I mean, if silence could burn, that room was on fire." Karen didn't say a word. Just grabbed her binder and walked out. No apology. No defense. Just gone. And me. I stood there for a moment, looked around at the faces, some embarrassed, some stunned, and I simply said, all I wanted was a quiet Saturday. That line got a chuckle. Even from Ramirez, who was standing near the door, arms crossed like he'd just watched a live episode of Dateline. Funny thing, a week later, her house was up for sale. Word got around. People realized she wasn't who she pretended to be. The HOA voted in new board members, and the community. It relaxed. We had that charity event after all. Raised over $80,000. Even named the kids' sandbox a Karen's trap. They thought it was hilarious. But me. I didn't feel victorious. Just relieved. Because here's the thing, people like Karen don't just want to be right. They need to be right. And when that illusion shatters, they don't always go quietly. They flail, fight, burn bridges that weren't even built yet. And they usually end up alone. So what do you think? Was I wrong for letting her crash and burn, or did she bring it on herself? Drop your thoughts below. Tell me where the line is between standing your ground and letting someone fall.